My name is Joseph Cooper. I was a police officer in the town of Jimsville, Tennessee. If you're curious why the town doesn't show up in any Google search results, I'm gonna tell you why. It was an ordinary day at the station. I was doing my usual rounds of paperwork before heading home. Susan, one of the 911 operators, informed me about a call from a man named Marshall. The reason being an attempted child abduction. "Alright, I'll take care of it," I said, getting in my cruiser. It was a 5-minute drive to get to his house. 2 other officers were already there. The distraught man was speaking to them about the incident. I walked up to him to ask him about what had happened. He told me that a man had emerged from the bushes when his 7-year-old daughter, Josie Flynn, was playing on her swing set. The description of the subject was that of a fairly tall, average-built Caucasian man, in his mid-20s with short, well-kept brown hair and blue eyes. His outfit consisted of black and shoes, blue jeans, a brown long-sleeve shirt, and a gray mask that covered his mouth. And strangely, only his mouth. When the man tried to do something to his daughter, he quickly stormed outside. After seeing the angered father, the man quickly sprinted back into the woods. He took his daughter into the house and called the police, which led to the current moment. Marshall noted the man had a maw of razor-sharp triangular teeth and no lips. That last part sent a chill down my spine. My colleagues on the scene thought that he was on something, but that look on his face convinced me that he wasn't lying. The next couple of days, several women disappeared, and 2 bodies were found mauled and partially eaten in the forest. The sheriff feared that a bear had gained a taste of human flesh and was hunting the townsfolk. I objected to that since the injuries on the autopsy report definitely weren't from a bear. Of course, they ignored me and the deaths were reported as animal attacks. The following Saturday, I was enjoying one of the few days off I had while my wife Chloe was at work. I was lounging on my easy chair watching the movie The Revenant, drinking a beer to temporarily forget about the recent murders. My daughter Sarah, who was 16 at the time, arrived home from her gymnastics practice. She gave me a big hug as usual when she got home. When she walked upstairs to change out of her clothes, I walked to my fridge to get another Miller Lite. I suddenly heard the ear-piercing scream of Sarah from her bedroom. I rushed up the stairs and into her room, practically ramming the door down. "What's wrong?" I asked in an urgent tone. "There was a man outside. He was watching me change," Sarah said, tearing up. "Did you see what he looked like?" I asked. "Not really, but he had brown hair and a gray face mask on his mouth," Sarah said. My heart sank to my chest when she said that. It was for sure the same man from the previous case. "Stay here," I said, going to my bedroom to retrieve the Remington shotgun from my closet. I went out to the backyard, pumping the shotgun as I yelled for whoever it was to come out with their hands up. There was no response. I searched the entire yard for 3 minutes to find no one in sight. Although I know Sarah would never lie about something like that, I went back into the house to comfort her until their mother returned. Now that the same man from the Marshall Flynn case paid me a visit, I was fully convinced that he was responsible for the killings. And sure enough, the following Tuesday, the remains of a missing young boy, Jared Hancock, age 10, were found in the forest preserve. His lower torso was completely missing. The smell of decaying flesh hung in the hot air. Even the homicide detective, Joshua Rogers, vomited his lunch upon seeing the poor boy. "You got a clue of what the hell did this?" I said. "To be honest, I have no idea myself. Whatever did this definitely wasn't an animal. A person chopping this boy in half isn't a far stretch, but there's no way they would bother with such a precise cut," Joshua said. "So what the hell does that mean?" I said. "That whatever we're dealing with is something supernatural, I'm sure of it," Joshua said. Even though I believed him somewhat, there was no way in hell we would have been able to convince the superintendent or the sheriff. I and Joshua left the crime scene to execute the grim task of informing the Hancocks of their son's death. They predictably sobbed uncontrollably, Miss Hancock especially. After they calmed down, Joshua asked them questions regarding their son's disappearance while I was using the bathroom. They said Jared was spending the night at a friend's house. When they were playing in the backyard was when he went missing. Before we left, Miss Hancock pleaded with us to find the monster that had brutalized her son. We promised to do whatever we could to find them. When we left, I was welcomed by Sheriff Michael Douglas leaning against my office door. "Hey, Sheriff, what's up?" I said. "Oh, hey. I don't know how to say this, but I came down here to tell you something from the superintendent. You've been relieved of your service," Michael said. "You're saying I've been fired? After the 10 years I've spent here," I said, angered by the fact that I've lost my job so suddenly and without any rational explanation. "Man, calm down. I had no hand in it," Michael said. "All right. How about you go tell the superintendent to kiss my ass?" I said, throwing my badge on the ground as I walked off. After I got home, I opened the Jack Daniels bottle I bought and I poured myself a glass. "I don't understand. Why did they just fire you?" Chloe asked. "I'm as much in the dark as you are, but I think I have a good suspicion. It's because of this mystery man that we're trying to track down. I must have known too much of what they're trying to cover up," I said. But despite losing my job, my promise to Miss Hancock was still there. Job or no job, I would hunt down whoever or whatever it was that was killing these people. "Well, I know what will make you feel better," Chloe said, taking me 4 seconds to figure out the implication. Since Sarah was visiting a friend, I figured why not. I won't go into too much detail for obvious reasons. We were about to get into things when I heard a knock at the door. I immediately stopped what I was doing to walk towards it. "Is that Sarah?" Chloe asked, somewhat frightened. "It can't be. Whatever happens, stay right behind me, okay?" I said to Chloe, grabbing my hunting knife from a hidden compartment in my nightstand. When I slowly opened the door, it was Joshua, surprisingly in civilian clothing. "Whoa, man, it's just me," Joshua said after seeing me with the knife. "Oh, sorry. I thought you were the thing," I said, embarrassed while my wife was putting her shirt back on. I sheathed the knife and I hooked it on my belt holder. "Was I interrupting something?" Joshua said, hiding a little smile. "Oh, no, not at all. Please come on in," I said as I shut the door after he walked in. "You want a coffee?" asked Chloe. "Sure, thanks, Miss Cooper," Joshua said as he sat on the sofa while I sat across on my easy chair. "Well, man, you won't believe this. They fired me the day after you," Joshua said. "You too? This seals it. They know something that we don't. I said as Chloe gives Joshua his coffee. That's what I was thinking. The way I see it, we are gonna have to hunt down this thing ourselves. And I know just the guy who can help us out, Joshua said. Who? I asked. Old Man Perkins, Joshua replied. You mean that Vietnam veteran, Rodney Perkins? I said. Yup. Word around town is that he's a bit nutty, but still pretty dependable. He told me yesterday that he thought he saw our suspect by a creek near the forest preserve, and said that he would come along with us in our hunt, Joshua said. He saw it? I asked. Apparently so, Joshua said. Well, every second wasted here is another person dead, so we should head out now, I said. After I packed my gear, I kissed my wife goodbye as I and Joshua left to Perkins' house. It took a good hour to get there, and his house was surprisingly clean and well kept. We knocked and we were welcomed by Rodney, who shook our hands and welcomed us in as he went to get his duffel bag. He was quite good looking for an old man. He's 70, but he looks and moves like he's 50. We wasted no time as we left in our vehicles. He trailed behind us in his red pickup truck as we drove to the preserve, which was closed. When we parked, Rodney got out his M14 rifle out of the back of his pickup truck. I had my Remington shotgun, and Joshua had his favorite Glock pistol. Alright boys, let's bag this sumbitch and head home, Rodney said. Easier said than done, Joshua said as we ventured into the forest. We continued walking until we finally got to the creek, which had a sewage tunnel connecting to it. Hey guys, look, I said, seeing something shiny in the water. The smell of rotting flesh intensified as we got closer to a bloated corpse in the water, which we strongly assumed was one of the missing women. Jesus Christ, I said, trying not to vomit. Look at that. There's a paper in its chest cavity, Joshua said. Despite it being in the water for God knows how long, the paper was still dry. The text written in blood said, "Getting warmer." The fact that this thing could write a note meant it was definitely a lot smarter than a mere animal. As we walked into the sewage tunnels, Joshua turned on his high-powered flashlight to navigate the dark-ass tunnels down there. The raw sewage smell was so intense me and Rodney almost fell over. 10 minutes later, we found a natural light source coming from another tunnel. We walked out there to see we were now in a deeper part of the forest. We all shit ourselves when we saw the suspect, who was no longer wearing his face mask, revealing a lipless mouth with teeth resembling that of an anglerfish. This confirmed that this thing was definitely not a person, or anything that could possibly be natural. Somehow Josh still had the balls to tell him to put his hands up, which only made the beast laugh. "Oh, not to worry. I only summoned you all here to talk," said the creature, who was obviously lying, but his voice was surprisingly soothing and calm for being quite deep. "If that's so, tell us what the hell your name is," Rodney said. He paused for a second, seeming surprised as if it was the first time that somebody asked his name. "I have many names, but you may call me Wahasha." I had no idea what the hell that name meant, but I knew that it was Arabic. "Now that that's out of the way, why are you eating our locals?" Joshua asked. I saw him clenching his fist, barely containing his rage towards this unearthly thing. "Oh, it's nothing personal. It's just the taste of your flesh is so satisfying. It's like what you humans call pigs. It's the best I've had since I crashed on this planet," Wahasha said, his choice of words genuinely unnerving me. "Crashed? What do you mean by that?" I asked. "Well, I guess I have no reason to hide anything now, so I'll tell you. 7 million years ago, I had crashed in an asteroid on this planet when humans were just starting to appear. I hibernated until the first civilization started popping up on Earth. I eventually woke up and started feasting on whatever I could eat, including humans around 3100 BC, before hibernating again around AD 226. I eventually settled down on the landmass that would eventually become this little shithole town. After waking up again in 1837, I routinely fed on the locals here before I hibernated again. And now, here I am. Strangely, not even I fully know my own origin." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This thing was a damn alien. Old as humanity itself, probably older. Rodney's mouth was dropped the whole time by what we were hearing. "So then why did you kill the little boy, huh? Why him?" I yelled. "That I have no obligation to answer," Wahasha replied. An enraged Josh promptly shot him in the chest with his pistol. Wahasha screamed in pain as purple blood oozed from his wound, sizzling like acid when it dropped to the ground. Black horns then started to grow from his head. His mouth opened wider as he sprinted at an inhuman speed towards Rodney, clearly pissed off. He tackled Rodney to the ground, trying to bite his neck with his large jaws. I fired my shotgun at it in a vain attempt to get it off. Josh tried to pull him off, only to be smacked to the ground with his hand, which now had elongated, sharpened claws. After one more shotgun blast to its back, it finally got off of Rodney. It dropped to the ground in a mangled mass from my shotgun blast. "Did you get him?" Rodney asked. "I think so," I said. Suddenly its hair began to fall off its head, as its skin turned a light gray with a hint of purple, and then it suddenly turned into some frail, gargoyle-like thing. "No, please, spare me," begged Wahasha, coughing up purple blood as it tries to limp away. "After all of those innocents you killed, you think you're entitled to mercy," Josh yelled. It let out a little whimper as Rodney finished it with a headshot from his M14. As its body, strangely, started to dissolve, a maggot-like creature burrows underground. I didn't know if it was bad or not because all we cared about was getting the hell out of there before the police had arrived. To this day, I still don't know how that thing went down so easy. I moved out of that godforsaken town a month later, even though I have Josh and Rodney's number so we could always keep in touch. If you guys were expecting more thrilling mystery stuff, then you must have been disappointed. He was getting a hell of a lot cockier, and so he felt no need to hide anything anymore. 4 years later, and my daughter is now 20, and taking online college classes. I had to go to a rehab center to help me quit my excessive drinking from the unnatural horrors that I had witnessed. The only reason I'm still here to tell this story is because of my amazing wife and my child. If you want to speculate what the hell that thing was, that would be a great help too. I just hope to God that that monster is dead for good.